Hello, everyone. This is our brand new podcast called HallPass. Adam Hall here, Josh Kessler here, and we are going to talk about a little bit of everything from sports to law to bingo to shuffle. What are we going to talk about?
Everything.
Everything. Like everything?
Everything.
Everything. Okay. He knows the law side. I know a bunch of random facts about random things. But we want to talk right now about the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, yes.
Didn't you say that you had a long night yesterday? How did that go for you?
Yeah, so last night, me and a couple other guys went to the Cincinnati Reds Pittsburgh Pirates game. Got to watch Paul Skeens, who's probably going to win the Cy Young this year. Pitch against Hunter Green, another good pitch for the Reds, who's had trouble staying healthy, but marquee game. The Reds in a playoff push right now, and a great game. Went to extra innings. Unfortunately, the Reds come up a little short. They're a game at the time of this recording. They're a game back right now, and
how many people thought that was going to happen?
Well, that's what. No, I really say I'm not used to the Reds playing this late in the year, though. So I will say
yeah.
I'm happy about that.
We'll give them time. They usually find a way to end it pretty quick. Love the Reds, but they literally always drop the ball.
No, well, yeah.
No pun intended.
No, that's the 2 nights ago against the Pirates. The Lonely Pirates are struggling this year, and the Reds hit into I think 3 or 4 inning-ending double plays.
Yeah.
And then last night, just missed opportunities. And players can hit well, but I played for Johnny LeMaster in college, and Johnny played years for the San Francisco Giants and professional baseball, one of the greatest baseball minds I ever been around. And he always used to tell us, don't tell me when you're hitting, tell me when you're hitting it. and what
I like that.
And what that means is simply this: you can hit with a great batting average, but if you're not hitting it when it comes time to get a hit, runners in scoring position or in a big game or against a good team, if you're hitting 400 against Podunk State, it don't matter when you're playing, the best team in the conference or whatever. So last night, Tyler Stevenson played pretty well for the Reds. The night before, De La Cruz did, but there were some missed opportunities last night.
Like I said, we knew that was coming. No offense, love the Reds, love everything about them, but they're kind of shocked that they're still going this late. But let's talk about something else too. So we're on the sports train. Let's talk about the NFL. Who is your team, Adam?
This year
one star.
Half
a star.
I'll have to say this for a preference. And I want to age myself here, but about 1983, I had a Christmas gift from my father, and it was a Tony Dorsett jersey. And so at that very moment, I became a Dallas Cowboys fan. And since then, I have been a Dallas Cowboys fan, and much like being a Kentucky football fan, Dallas gave me a good run in the early 90s, but since then, I think my boy, Mr. Jerry Jones, we need to find a GM.
Yeah, they need to find a lot of things. No offense, listen. No offense to Dallas. They actually look the best they've looked in a long time. I mean, you've got the highest paid quarterback, Dak Prescott. I'm sorry, I can't say that without laughing. You got him. You got CeeDee Lamb. You don't have Micah Parsons anymore. He's in Green Bay. So I mean, but they did look good their first game and their second game. They're not a terrible looking team at all.
Here's my thing. I've never been sold on Dak. I've never been, when he was at Mississippi State, I watched him play Kentucky. I've never been sold on Dak. Now, granted, I'm not the greatest football mind of all time, but I do not think the squeeze ain't worth the juice there with the pay.
There's definitely some juice, and it's leaking all over the place. That is for sure, and it's leaking in Dallas.
Yeah, the secondary looked pitiful against Caleb Williams and the Bears, and that's a guy who can sling it around.
When you look bad against Chicago, people, there's something wrong. I'm going to say that now. The Bears, man, they're coming out of nowhere, and if they take you and beat you,
and not just beat you,
destroy you.
Yeah.
I mean, but for real though, that Dallas has looked better than they have. Give them time. It's only the third game of the season. Just give it time. It's still early. We're still in our fantasy leagues that we in. How are you doing in your fantasy league?
Well, actually, I'm undefeated in
Ooh.
one fantasy league, just by the skin of my teeth. I don't know how. Well, I do know how. My quarterback's Josh Allen. That's
Oh
how.
yeah, that's how you're getting 40 points right there. I mean,
And I will say this past week, I'm in another league on FanDuel, and we just do a weekly thing where we put, enter and stuff. And I actually, for the first time in probably 18 weeks, won that this week. And so what that means for everybody listening, I will not win any more fantasy leagues games this year, and I won't win FanDuel anymore this year.
wow, he's going to go definitely defeated, is what he's saying. He's not going to go undefeated. He's going to go defeated.
The thing about fantasy sports and baseball cards. This is something I've learned about fantasy sports and baseball cards lately because, and we'll get into this when we can. But as you know, recently I've renewed interest in baseball cards.
Love them.
And I was at a baseball card shop in Louisville recently, and I told the guy, I said, well, the thing about De La Cruz is, he's still got to be more disciplined at the plate and this and that. And he had no clue about baseball. They don't know this. A lot of people who collect cards now
don't know anything about the individual players.
They don't know the sport.
Yes.
They don't know, Cruz's weaknesses or
they don't know. They're collecting to collect because it's a high profit card.
It would be like I'm investing in certain companies just because I'm wanting a return on investment and I don't know what that company does.
It's like buying stock. It is, but you got to know what you're doing, or you're going to lose money.
You do.
That's for sure.
You do. It was interesting. I was like, maybe they moved him to the outfield, and you could tell the guy was looking at me like I was talking Chinese arithmetic.
Yeah, well, that happens. Like I said, those collectors, they're getting more away from actually knowing the player they're collecting, and they're just flipping it. They're going to take this card that's $500, and when they have a good game, they're going to turn around and sell it for $1,500. That's how they do it.
Right.
They don't go deeper in and say, well, look at the stats here for Caleb Williams, or look at the stats for Justin Herbert, or for some of these other guys. They don't pay attention to that, and that's going to cost them in the end, because a lot of them don't realize some of these guys have bounce backs, and when they bounce back and their card drops, they're in trouble.
Well, if you went by stats alone,
yeah,
the most valuable, in my opinion, the most valuable baseball card, or at least one of the top baseball cards of all time, should be Tony Gwynn.
Oh yeah,
I mean one of the most solid batters of all time.
Yeah.
And so there's certainly an argument that stats don't meet value, and I get it. All the different variations of baseball cards now are great.
And that doesn't make any sense. I mean, some of your greater players' cards are not worth what they should be.
Right.
And I get that. 100%. So we got the cards. We're going to be talking a lot about cards because we're big collectors.
Yeah, I gotta learn how to do all this, all the new nuances, and I see the live breaks on TikTok, and I mean I've talked to my son about this, and he's kind of got into it, and literally I have no idea what's going on, man. I see all this stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of intimidating.
Well, with a break, and we can go over this just a minute. We'll go deeper as we go further. But a break is pretty much, they've got the number of spots that they're doing. So I've got 50 spots here, and I'm going to sell them at $15 a spot, right? And then you go in here and say, well, I need spot 1, 2, 3, 4, or I like to do 1, 3, 5.
Whatever.
Just randomly mix, or say, hey, I need 20 random spots. You get that, you send the guy the money, or the girl, whoever, the money, and then you see at the end when they do the little razz if your number is lucky enough to hit the top.
Well, it's I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like practicing law. When I first started practicing law, we didn't do Social Security and Social Security Disability and SSI. We did a little bit, but my father started a law firm. We focused mainly on personal injury. But when I came in, nobody did that type of law, and he mentioned me trying it and doing it, and so I said, sure, I'll do it. And I quickly learned or figured out that you could read, you could review case law, but until you just got out there and just got into it and do it, that's the only way you're going to learn.
That's your experience.
And that's how I'm going to have to do baseball cards. But and a strange correlation to practicing law. I've been doing this now for 21 years, practicing law. And one thing I can say, every day I practice law.
Of course.
But every day I'm learning. But I became to where I think as a firm, my entire firm, we've become comfortable in that we are comfortable that we can do a good job for people.
Of course.
And we're well versed in injury law across the board, whether it's med mal, whether it's personal injury, Social Security, SSI, workers' comp. But also, we want people to know that if you need a deed, if you need a will, and trust me, people, you need a deed or a will.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Especially a deed, if things are happening. But please get a will. I mean, if this is the only thing you hear from this podcast, please make sure if you have brothers and sisters, kids that don't get along, mommy and daddy, whatever, trust me, get a will.
You're cooked if not. That's what the kids say. I can say that. The kids say that. Cooked.
Is that when you say bet or vet?
Bet, yeah.
I've heard that one.
Their generation is cooked. I'm just go ahead and say that now. But yes, if you have siblings like you say, or if you have someone that you don't get along with and you die, they probably gonna get you stuff.
Well, and here's the thing. I've done this for a long time, and I have 2 sisters. I get along with them, but it's inevitable, and I've seen this a lot. There is going to be something that both of you or all 3 of y'all cherish. Yeah. That was either mom's or dad's or whomever's. And why not go in and say, look, I want you all to have this. Josh, I want you to have my prize,
Pig,
and I
threw him off on pig.
Yeah. Well, you'd be amazed what people has left in their wills to people. So I've seen people leave dogs. I've seen people come in and quick story.
Here we go. Put on your hats, everybody.
I had a guy come into me one time, and he had a woman less his age by maybe 45 years. And
that's a sugar baby, folks. That's a sugar baby. Go ahead.
Hey, I told him, hey, do your thing, man. And he did a will and left everything to her. And when they left, now this has been about 15, 20 years ago. And when they left, she was lovey-dovey all over him. And, and I kind of looked and like, okay. Well, the very next morning, he's on my office doorsteps at 8 o'clock. And I was like, what's up, man? And he said, I want to change my will. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? He said, well, ain't it true that the last will you do is what is viable and what is legit? And I said, yep. And he said, well, does she not get to know that? Talking about his girlfriend. And I said, no. So sure enough, he did a new will that left stuff to his kids, but his girlfriend didn't know it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty good story. So we got a lot of those stories.
Wow. Got more to come.